Hello everyone, VortexTCG here, and today I've got a gameplay video of my opponent playing some sort of mill deck. I don't know if he even knows how to explain it, but it's some sort of mill deck essentially. I'm going to be playing a very interesting list. It's not one that I made, but it's one that Bandai themselves created. If you've been following me on Twitter, I've been talking about it for a little bit. It is the Zudomon Ace deck that Bandai have created themselves. They tend to release these deck lists around every set essentially, highlighting key cards from BT14, and I thought that why don't I try it, see if there's any fun here in the deck. And as you can see, I'm bricking quite hard, so probably not as fun as I want it to be, but yeah, so essentially the upcoming gameplay videos is going to be featuring this Zudomon Ace Bandai deck essentially, and at the end it's going to culminate in a bit of a vlog talking about the deck. So if you're looking forward to that content, please do like and subscribe. I've definitely been trying to put a lot more effort into the videos, and it seems like you guys have really enjoyed the ones about the training cards and also the demo deck that apparently a lot of people do not have access to, because all the comments are just people getting confused that it even exists in the first place. But either way, the game here is going as expected for someone that has bricked, unfortunately. He is going to go into Digimon, which is a very interesting card. I actually kind of like the look of this card, in my opinion, just due to the fact that it mills, but also gets you security attack. I don't know, there might be something to do, like something to play with in this deck. I've seen, I think, in Liverpool Regional, someone was playing like a Lilithmon, and this was the secondary level 6 they were playing, but I thought it was quite interesting. And you see my deck go into work here. I'm using Wave of Reliability, which is something that I struggle saying apparently. And what I'll be doing here is stripping 2 sources, and if I had a Joe out I could unsuspend a Digimon as well, but obviously I don't have a Digimon out, and then I just go into Zudomon to bounce it back to the opponent's hand. So a bit of removal here, but my opponent has got the answer in the Death Slinger, and yeah, so at this point I am wondering, should I scoop? Because my god, this game is miserable. But I decided to keep it out here, go to Joe, and yeah, see how that goes. Maybe it doesn't go crazy well, or goes better, I don't know. But he's going to swing with the Gilmon. It survives. I wish it wouldn't have survived, but if it didn't survive, I'd be able to gain additional memory, which could have potentially helped a lot in my upcoming turns. But unfortunately I'm just not getting enough draw, and this is one of the issues that I just have with this deck by Bandai. There's just no draw. You're essentially just relying on Digivolution draws essentially. There's no something like the training boosts, there's no like blue memory boost, there's not really much going on within this deck. And the way that this deck is designed is it's supposed to be a more like stripping sources kind of thing, so you can gain advantage. So the Christ Palindromon gets security attack +1, the Ikakumon allows you to stun, so there's a lot of things going on with that. But you know what counters that? Just your opponent not playing cards essentially. Like, it's just is what it is. He plays the Gilmon here, and at this point I'm in a bit of a pickle, because I just feel like whatever I do here, I just can't really do much. Maybe this was a mistake bouncing back the Gilmon here. Maybe I should have just done the Gulmon, but in my thought, I just felt like the Gulmon was just kind of like a dead card, and I could easily get rid of it. Plus, I could also get bonuses from the Sora and Joe here if I was to do that, but unfortunately it dies to security, and then he goes Megiddo to delete, and then at this point there's not really any way I could win the game. If I had maybe one more memory I could go into a hybrid, but unfortunately there's not much else to do, so I swing 2 times at security begrudgingly. We then get into game 2, and I get to start off here. I get the Gomamon, the brand new BT14 Gomamon, which this deck is based around in part anyways. It's a key card if you look at the website, so it must be the game changer card that I'm looking for here. And then I go into the Palindromon, and Man, I don't know what they were thinking with this deck, but this Paildramon sucks. I don't know what they were thinking whatsoever. Essentially, it allows you to strip a source, and then as an inheritable, if one of your opponent's Digimon Digivolves when they don't have a source, it increases the evolution by 1, which sounds really cool, but then you realize that they're just gonna Digivolve in Raising, and you can't do anything. So yeah, it just feels absolutely terrible. So he's going to go into the Black Growlmon here, which mills 2, and then he gets to add, I believe that is the Gilmon, back to hand. And yeah, my opponent is, you know, getting his stuff going, getting some mills going here, and yeah, it's just a case of what do I do? He goes into this Black War Growlmon, which allows him to mill 3, and I believe this doesn't allow him to delete anything, unfortunately, because we don't have 10 or more, so it can't increase by 5k. Oh no, it can, but I get to play the Gomon one out again, so I get to, well, not unsuspend, but gets to play out the Gomamon, hatch an egg, Bluco, pretty nice. So I'm looking a little bit better here, but as you can see, I just feel like there's no real synergy going on here, you know? I just feel like I'm just playing Digimon and swinging. It doesn't feel like a deck whatsoever, but I Zudomon Ace bounce the Black War Growl back to the opponent's hand, and the Zudomon Ace is clearly the MVP in this deck. That is designed by Bandai. I mean, it does pretty much everything you need it to do, because it's probably the best sorcerer removal in the deck. But he does have the Death Slinger, which is very unfortunate. So yeah, and then he goes Megiddo to delete another one as well. So a lot of cards that I'm not used to seeing at all. But hey, it seems to be clearing some stuff out here. So it's just a case of now I go into the Paildramon, you know, that broken Paildramon. I swing a security, it dies. I'll swing a security again, it doesn't die because it has jamming from the Bukamon. And then it's just a case of how do I make sure that I win the following turn. So I think I have the hybrid in hand, so it's just a case of, do I play out the Tamer out, or do I play out the Goma so I can get another body on the field, essentially. But in this case, I decided to play out the Tamer because I feel like if it was to be removed, I mean, depends on how much memory my opponent gives me as well. I could potentially go into Wave Reliability again, which is that option card that allows me to unsuspend. Actually, it doesn't allow me to unsuspend because I do not have, if I Digivolve into a hybrid, I don't have the Joe, which means I cannot unsuspend. So kind of a dead card, unfortunately. But he goes Black War Growl, which allows him to play out, well, get mill 3 and then play out a Takato or a Gilmon, I believe. So he's going to play out the Gilmon here, which I believe will give him Rush. Maybe, I'm not 100% sure. I think we have to count here. I think, yeah, he does have Rush here. I go into the Zudomon Ace here for free. I then strip 2 sources here and then bounce the Gilmon here. The reason why I do this is because I just want to make sure that he just doesn't get the swings he needs. Sure, he gains the memory back here, but for me, it doesn't matter as much. It does get the swing still though, so maybe it just wasn't worthwhile. Maybe I should have just done that all, but yeah, whatever. He doesn't have a purple source though, so he cannot play that purple memory boost. I caught it, so no illegal play this time, so he just passes the turn. So now it's just a case of setting myself up for the following turn, because if I could set myself up for the following turn, I win on the next turn, essentially. So here I will just, I'm thinking about cards. I can't remember what the card is in my hand right now that I'm tempted to play, but I think it's just maybe a level 3 I was tempted to play. I could be wrong here. Yeah, I just decided to play the Kuma because it gives him 2, and essentially he needs to get rid of this. But at the same time, you know, I could potentially do more. So he goes Jack's Raid here, which allows him to gain, I believe, 2 memory here. We'll see when he does it. 2 memory, yep. And yeah, it depends on what he does now. I don't know if he has an answer or he wants to answer this, but he does actually answer it with the Death Slinger, which allows me to, well, it allows him to delete the Kuma. Completely forgot it there for a moment. And then he just goes Purple Memory Boost to pass the turn, and I feel like I've got game here. All I need to do is promote and then go into the hybrid for game, or I could do something fun and go Waiver Reliability to unsuspend and swing for game. We are now in game 3 and my opponent gets to start, and I've seen this start before. It's my start in game 1, so it seems like my opponent just not finding the level 3s to get his engine going, and that's great for me because for sure I don't want him to do it, but I bounce it back to his hand just to put insult to injury, because now it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him to do anything. Then I think I just pass here because anything that I would do in this situation wouldn't matter, because I don't want to give him, I don't think I have anything that I could play at that point, but I go into Ikakumon. The first Ikakumon, oh my god, allows me to stun stuff, which is incredible. Gets a swing and stun, has jamming as well. Wow, what a winner. Swing, and it dies into security, and he gains 3 memory, so it goes to his turn, and he goes into the Blackwater Growl, which allows him to mill 3, or us both mill 3, but the number doesn't count up to 10, so he can't delete the Ikakumon, so happy days. And now it's just a case of how does he want to pass the turn, and he passes it with Missed Memory Boost to mill 2 and draw 1. So at this point I'm feeling pretty good, if I'm being honest, because now I feel like I'm in the driver's seat. Ikakumon putting in work. What can I say? The most broken card in the game. That is a joke. This card is definitely not broken. So at this point, I go into the Christ Paildramon, which allows me to strip another source, which is very, very nice. And I also get to gain a memory as well, which is nice. I get to swing, stun the Blackwater Growl, which this is what the deck is obviously meant to do, but the thing is this game plan is easily countable just by not promoting. Obviously my opponent doesn't really have much of a choice here, so is what it is, but yeah, can't really do much about it. So he's going to go into, I believe, he's going to go Death Slinger to delete because he has enough in trash now. And now he's going to go Jack Raid to gain, I believe, 1 memory, and then go into Gulmon for 1 here. So now I will mill 3 and then draw. And now it's just a case of making sure that I can win on the following turns. Damage limitation, as some might say. So I have the hybrid in hand, and I also have the Gomamon in raising, so I just need essentially to get 1 more swing, but I decide to trash it and then bounce it back to the hand with a Zudomon Ace. Like I said, Zudomon Ace putting in work, and I limit him to 2 memory as well, so it's just a case of he has another removal, maybe that will stop me from winning on this turn, but yeah. Unfortunately, it looks like he has that Megiddo in his hand, so he's not able to delete the level 5. He could delete level 4s, but not level 5. So it's just a case of Jack Raiding here, gaining, I believe, 1 or 2 memory, and then Purple Memory Boost, not finding the answer that he particularly needs, gets the Gilmon, and now it's just a case of how does he pass the turn. Passes it with a Gilmon, and at this point I feel like I've got game. I promote, I decide to swing with the Gomamon, has jamming, and then I was going to swing there, but felt like that could be a misplay, so I go Waiver Reliability here to unsuspend, and then swing again, and then swing for game.